Welcome back to Talladega, the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series playoff race. If one of the 8 remaining championship hopefuls should win today, they guarantee a spot in the championship for next month at Phoenix. How about some radio from one of those championship hopefuls, the 42 truck of Carson Hocevar.
I'm not going to drop back to get to him because I don't think you'll ever get back up here. A lot of time that we don't have. I think it's super important to try and get as many stage points as you can the first 2 stages because you never know what's going to happen at the end. Obviously, at any point, they could wreck.
Well, that's Hocevar, and the last 2 races, guys, we've had first-time winners, Chandler Smith and Christian Eckes. Hocevar still looking for that first career win. Might today be the day?
He's my pick, Vince. I think that he could get the win today. He's ready to dance in victory lane. I can guarantee you that. It's going to be beautiful.
Who would be another maybe big story first-time winner, Kurt?
For me, I mean, I'm going with Hailie Deegan. I mean, she's my pick as far as that girl that wants to break through and make a name for herself. This is a track where you can get those types of first wins. Do it, girl. Yeah. Gas it up.
What a big story that would be if Hailie Deegan could come through with her first career win. Look at those last 3 finishes. I mean, it has not been good, and that's on the heels of her 7th place run, which was terrific. So she needs a bounce back. It's tough to get a bounce back here at Talladega, right? It's the playoffs, and it's Talladega. So glad you're with us today. It's about to get fun. It's about to get chaotic. And sit back and enjoy it. Drop that green flag.
Love this track, Mikey. There's so much going on every single moment of every single turn. Going up through the gears, grabbing the draft now. These guys are going to be going 200 miles an hour by the end of the back straightaway.
That's about what my heart rate will be throughout this race as well, because you can just see how difficult pushing and drafting is. When you want to help a guy, you bump him, and there's someone alongside. That's when an accident can happen. I know this is only the first lap, Kurt, but it doesn't matter. It's Talladega, and you've got to charge. I talked about there's 3 short races today. You win all 3 of them. You know what that means if you're a playoff guy. You're going to be going to Phoenix with a chance to be the champion.
Teammates out front with Ben Rhodes and Matt Crafton leading that inside line. Rhodes leads a lap at Talladega for the first time in his career, and that's Todd Gilliland on the outside challenging.
That outside line is formed up nicely, just like the inside. We saw Rhodes get a good jump at the start, but here comes Speedy Cash. Really speedy truck is Todd Gilliland. Been fast the second half of this season.
I see some instability in the trucks already.
That's what makes me nervous, Vince. They wobble, they shift, they shimmy, they shake.
Everything moves around quite a bit here in the beginning, and the shocks are all getting compressed for the first time, and they're digging now, and this will be the fastest lap. I don't know what it is, but there's something about the inertia of the 3rd lap in every series. Trucks, Xfinity Cup, this is usually the fastest lap that people post early in the race.
Ryan Doza got a penalty at the start for passing before getting to the line, so he had to take a drive through.
He was more excited to go racing than we are, Vince.
You know, I was going to ask about the guys that have never raced here before, and you get no practice. This is your first laps on the track. How nerve-wracking that must be for those drivers. This is such a different style of racing.
Oh, it's been insane lately with the lack of practice and qualifying, and for a new guy, a new girl trying to get some laps, it is the toughest thing to do because you don't know how difficult the truck is going to be driving. You don't know if it's going to be wandering around with a toe change or the rear end skew. There's so much going on that you'd love to sort out in practice, and you got to do it right now in the middle of the race.
Stuart Friesen second in line on the outside. How about it, Jamie Howe?
He's been moving back and forth within that top 5 after lining up 5th, but the big story for Stewart today is that this is a brand new race truck. In fact, it is his first brand new super speedway truck that he's ever had in his career. He said he looks at it, he says it looks like it's fast. He's hoping that it has that same potential speed in it. So far on the radio, it's responding to all the moves that he's making. He's able to control it. That was the biggest thing he was concerned about, with no practice, no qualifying, no track time prior to this race start. So we'll keep an eye on Stuart Friesen today.
Yeah, he's had such a strong playoffs. I mean, he was averaging about a 17th place finish during the regular season, and in the playoffs, his average finish is 4th. He gained 17 points at Las Vegas. I mean, he has shown he is ready to take that next step with a win.
And I chatted with him this morning, Vince, and Stewart said, like I was talking earlier, that he is going to be set on go from the beginning. There's no laying back. Obviously, these guys up front are content to run right now side by side and log some laps. But Stewart said it's got to be all or nothing today for him.
Trip Bruce on the right-hand side of the screen, and Friesen, again, second in line on the outside. The field is led by the 99 of Ben Rhodes, also your playoff leader. On board with Gilliland, that's Austin Hill to the left, and the John Hunter Nemechek truck is the 4 machine.
Look how tight, how close that is.
I was just going to say, like, it's close, and this is that point where it's like, all right, you've been stuck in the low lane or you've been stuck in the high lane. You can see him moving back and forth. It's a low lane, seems like down the front. Then the high lane will come back here towards turn 1 and the turn 3 area. And this is when people start getting a little bit more of that impatientness to them as far as, are they going to push harder or are they just riding? It's a question.
That 16 truck third on the inside lane. If you missed it, Jamie Little's report on the race day program before the race today, that Hill will be going full-time Xfinity racing next season. So a vacancy opening up for that 16 truck, and a lot of talk about the HRE truck team being a 2-truck group next season. We'll see if that comes to fruition, but it's silly season and there's some movement. Grant Enfinger was announced earlier this week as going full-time racing for GMS next season. So
Kurt, that's a beautiful view, isn't it? Just being able to see some empty racetrack ahead of you and checking the mirror, checking everything closely as he's got Matt Crafton down on the inside.
Yeah, so we're riding along with Gilliland, and this comes with responsibility, though. When you're leading the outside draft, you've got to do the best job you can to use the side draft to your left and draft off of Crafton, but also take the pushes in from Friesen from behind. So great, and then your truck is usually a little bit freer / looser when you're leading a draft.
Well, that side draft, isn't that something that a lot of the young drivers kind of struggle a little bit with early on? I mean, that's an art.
It's certainly a feel. You know, you've got to understand that you need to get close, but then you have to anticipate that truck moving around. You want to get close and then get away as quickly as you can.
More on Matt Crafton running second in the 88 with Jamie Little.
Matt Crafton, of course, one of the veterans out here. Been to Talladega 15 times. He told me he's watched his last couple of races and realized the mistakes that he's made are like rookie mistakes. He said, today I must be patient. That's the only way that you can protect yourself today at this racetrack. He also told me his plan for early on was to push that 99, his teammate of Ben Rhodes. He said, but when it comes down to those final few laps, there's one guy I want to be up front with, and that's Johnny Sauter in the 13.
And Crafton executing his plan to perfection so far, as he has trailed Rhodes very comfortably, if that can be such a thing at Talladega.
I've never associated those two, Vince.
Going to break, but you won't miss a thing, side by side. back at Talladega. This is the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. Chevrolet Silverado 150. Ben Rhodes continues to lead. He's led throughout the initial laps here and hasn't really been pressured for a while. Todd Gilliland in that 38 truck was side by side with him, but since then Gilliland has slipped back a little bit. And here's some radio from that 52 right behind Gilliland.
Pounds of the 38. Yeah, he's got to start side drafting on the straightaway so we can kill the bottom.
Well, I'm looking at the back of that 38 tailgate, Mikey. It looks like it's getting busted loose because of Friesen pushing like he is. But going back to that radio chatter, Mikey, what's he talking about with that side draft?
Well, you want to get as aggressive as you can, and just wants them to close in on that bottom line because they see how much speed it has down there. They're trying to take advantage of the side draft to slow the inside down so they can make that momentum.
Now, there's a few things starting to brew up. There's a little bit of impatience. You know, a guy running for the playoffs, trying to stay up there and get these stage points because these stages are quick. I mean, in the Cup Series, our mindset is much longer and broader. In the Truck Series, it's 20 laps for these stages. That's like gas it up and go.
And you know what's so interesting about that, Kurt, is the points are the same. You got 20 laps and you get 10 points if you win the stage. And that's what these drivers, why they're so focused on that front group and not letting that inside line stream away from them. Although a lot of progress is being made down there. You can see the 18 truck, Chandler Smith, and there's Drew Dollar in 51 up in the top 10. So good run early for Kyle Busch Motorsports. There goes a 51 looking up top. Does he go there?
And right in front of that 18 of Chandler Smith is Johnny Sauter. As you see Smith jump to the outside. What about Sauter, Jamie Howe?
Well, whether or not to jump up to that middle lane was a decision Johnny Sauter was trying to make as Chandler Smith made the move instead, but his spotters have Boyd telling him that the Sheldon Creed truck right in front of him, it has a ton of momentum right now. You need to get up to him on the bumper, take advantage of it. There are only 7 laps to go in this stage.
Yeah, Sauter almost got into the back end of the 4 of Nemechek, maybe even touched. So close.
For sure. This is that point. Everybody's like, hang on, I want to get up there. I want to get these stage points. And it's like the bottom lane just came apart like a bad poker game.
So Nemechek has jumped up to the top lane to lead the lane. Watch the 13 and eventually just the 4 of Nemechek.
Just so here late to make that move. And I think Sauter gave him a break. Just like Johnny got on the gas, he saw that coming. That's just one of those holes you can't try to get in.
That's a veteran move, though, on Sauter's part.
You got that right.
Check up, ease off, and let Nemechek in like that. That's a big move from a veteran.
And now look where he's headed. That outside lane with those drivers deciding to get up there and take a chance. It's paid off. John Hunter took the lead there.
How about that outside line with Nemechek and Sheldon Creed, the 2 drivers that we expect to be, fighting for the championship come Phoenix time. 2 of the guys that have been talked about as the favorites, maybe working together now, Kurt?
No, I would say it's almost laundry time. This is where you hang people out to dry. You get aggressive and you move them out of the way. This is big to see all these championship guys up front like this. It's huge. Look at them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys running for the title all up front.
Yeah, our standings as they run up at the top of the screen, and coming to 5 to go here in stage 1. Those stage points that are awaiting these top 10, so important.
This is nerve-wracking. Wow, we've had another near miss here. 2 near misses at Talladega. The 3rd time generally doesn't work out as well.
Wow. Well, that's twice that Nemechek has experienced some contact today and has been able to gather it up.
Once was his fault and the other one wasn't.
Nemechek and Creed on the outside, and Rhodes and Crafton on the inside. The top 2 rows battling for the lead. Rhodes inching ahead.
Yeah, this is great. We've got teammates on the bottom side, and then we have championship rivals on the high side running 1, 2, 3, 4. And in the middle, just go there, buddy. Throw it in there.
Please don't. Please don't. My heart's not ready yet. Speedy Cash is looking good. A fast 38 truck for Todd Gilliland.
Yeah, there's times when guys leave the middle open and just a little too soon in the race, filling that hole.
It's crazy too, Vince, when you go to the middle as a racer, if you make that move yourself, sometimes it can pay off. If they stick you in the middle, then you're going to fall like a sack of rocks.
Yeah, you don't want to be in the middle by yourself, that's for sure. And that's got to be that's got to be a difficult decision to make. I mean, because you almost need to know somebody's going to run with you, right?
It's so tempting. You know, you want to go there because you see an opportunity to make a move, but then you better think twice going to the middle.
That 51 truck in the yellow down on the bottom, Drew Dollar.
Good run for Drew here early on.
Yeah, another one of those drivers that when you talk about potential spoilers, maybe first-time winners, anytime you're in a Kyle Busch Motorsports machine, you know you're in equipment good enough to get it done. It's just a matter of surviving at the super speedways, though. If you can survive to the end, you're going to have a chance to win.
But a lot of times, if you survive, you didn't get any stage points. So it's a delicate balance there. Whether you charge and try to save your equipment, obviously, if you're right up front like these, the 99 and the 88 have been, you want to just keep everything exactly like it is.
Yeah, you can look at the scoring pylon, and you have the majority of our playoff contenders in the top 10 pushing hard for those stage points. I mean, basically, like Hocevar, St. Smith are the only two that aren't up in that mix.
Rhodes and Crafton feeling good about themselves here with just a couple of laps left in stage one.
I'm feeling good about Austin Wayne Self in the 22 as well, Vince. There he is down on the inside lane. Made his way into the top 10. Good progress for this driver and a good season. They've had some moments that look like certainly a top 10 finish. Top 5 was just right around the corner.
Yeah, 4 straight top 15s, including a couple of top 10s in that stretch. Ryan Solomon, the crew chief, doing a great job with Austin Wayne Self behind the wheel.
That outside lane's going to have to form up and try to get a run here. We've only got a lap and a half to go. Let's go down to Jamie Little and get an update.
Well, Ben Rhodes, who's led them all so far in the 99, has had a lot of bad luck here. Only one top 10 finish at Talladega. He said, I have so many bad memories here. My plan today, since we're starting on pole, run up front as much as we can, get those stage points in the first and second stage, and then I could breathe a little easier and relax for the second half, because you know, you got about a 50-50 chance of wrecking and ending up on the wrecker at the end of the day.
Yeah, if you feel safe at Talladega, chances are it's a false sense of security.
And I would go with I would go like 70-30 the chances you're going to get crashed. We see a big pileup, and they'll take out nearly half of the field in one wreck.
I mean, we had 15 trucks involved in accidents in this race a year ago.
Yeah, this is the point where they're going to be pushing the hardest, trying to get these stage points.
Final lap, stage one.
Look at the run Friesen's making.
Yeah, Friesen on the outside with John Hunter Nemechek and Sheldon Creed.
Austin Hill moved up to try to grab those guys, but then everybody else is going to file in down below, and then that outside lane's got to push the hardest right now, and that's when they get squirrely.
Yeah, it's 1, 2, 3, Thorsport on the inside, and Ben Rhodes is charging toward the line.
Making a run at it,
and he got it.
Whoa. Barely hung on to that.
Stage one.
Whew.
To Ben Rhodes.
I told you it was 3 races. Race 1 is complete, and that was a thrilling finish.
Everybody's, okay, I got those points. All right.
I'm like everybody else then. I finally breathed for here for a moment. What a great decision by Austin Hill to pop up top. Jumped up there, got the big push by Friesen. Friesen was outside the top 10 just a couple of laps ago.
Creed up running on the wall in the 4th lane.
Wow.
Oh, good stuff. Our series points leader, Ben Rhodes, taking advantage of that starting position, staying up front. He's our stage one winner.
WWE Coronation, when the King of the Ring and the inaugural Queen's Crown Tournament kick off the season premiere of Friday Night SmackDown, live at 8 Eastern on Fox.
Stage 1 complete at Talladega, the Camping World Truck Series playoff race. Stage 1 won by Ben Rhodes. And really, when you look at the 3 drivers that needed the stage points the most, the 3 drivers at the bottom of the playoff standings, Chandler Smith, Zane Smith, Carson Hocevar, those are the 3 that didn't get any stage points. And here's the crazy finish to the stage, and Ben Rhodes by that much.
Yeah, I think you nailed it, Vince. It's the 3 guys that needed stage points the most, didn't get the job done.
And there's 5 other guys that are glad about that. Everybody's watching the point standings and how they're able to run through these stages and have the success that Ben Rhodes just had.
They're the ones going, hey man, I put in the work. I was here with the hammer and nails. I did this. I should get paid. I should get the points. And they did.
And for those that didn't get it, get a stage point, the aforementioned, just kind of ramps up the need to come back and make sure you get some points in this coming stage, in stage 2.
It's just
a finish.
More
Strong
intense
finish.
now. You know, it's just ratcheting up with every lap.
Does it feel that way? I mean, it feels that way as we watch. Does it feel that way in the seat too?
Oh, absolutely, 100%. And you know that you did the best job you could, and if you end up in the stage 8th, you're like, man, really? I was like, that was 2 points, but let's go down and figure out the pit strategy on fuel, tires, and what. Go ahead, Jamie, how?
We start off with the number 13 of Johnny Sauter. He said it's needed a little freer on exit right now. It does get squiggly when he's going door to door. I'm looking to see if they're going to take tires. I think it's a fuel-only stop for Johnny Sauter. Is this Stewart freezing? There's a very quick stop also, but he did get beat off pit lane, Jamie.
Teammates in, as you saw there, the 99.88 as they go up pit road. It was fuel only. Trucks are good, and we'll see what they have. They've been strong early on, Vince.
And you know, Vince, the fuel-only strategy is for track position. But the more you run, there's a little bit of attention to that bumper you called out, the 38 on there, Kurt. So they'll try to tune that in. But the trucks are going to be handling worse, and the intensity's going up. That's a great combination, isn't it?
Can't wait to see it. Hey, NFL tomorrow on Fox. It's the undefeated Panthers against the Cowboys. You know, the last 2 times the Panthers started the season 3-0, they went to the Super Bowl.
Wow.
Yeah, how about that?
You made fun of me when I said they were 1-0. Undefeated at 1-0.
Check your local listings, by the way, for the games in your area tomorrow. NFL on Fox and the Fox Sports app. Down to Jamie Little on the 38 of Gilliland.
Yeah, right before break, we saw that they were fixing the damage on the right rear. That happened really early on in the race, and it was affecting the handling, making the truck really tight. So they're hoping changing the right side tires and taping that bumper cover up will help him here.
The young driver out of Sherrills Ford, North Carolina.
If you're going to get that stuff taken care of, get it taken care of early.
Now, it'd be interesting to watch Gilliland, too, how patiently he is trying to race through this field.
We didn't see a lot of movement throughout the majority of the laps in that first stage. John Hunter Nemechek for this restart to begin stage 2. Nemechek on the inside, Matt Crafton on the outside. Ben Rhodes on the opening stage. This is stage 2 from Talladega.
First time Ben Rhodes has had someone in front of him. Really fast Ford truck. Look at him getting aggressive already.
Pushing hard and trying to gain some spots. It's tough to do when it's all jammed up like this. Looks like a freeway. Will anybody choose to go 3 wide here early?
I think not. Oh, look at that.
Some big hits.
Yeah, Rhodes giving a big push to Nemechek on the inside. Now Creed comes up to the rear bumper of Crafton on the outside.
You know, we can always expect veteran moves out of Crafton. That whole first stage, he sat right behind his teammate, stayed in the bottom lane, pushed him, and got his teammate to pick up the stage win, and he also cashed in on big points. Now, it's a whole different mindset when you're leading the outside train. It's like each position you end up in is a whole different mindset, whether you're in the low lane, the high lane, pushing, leading the lane, and then the third truck back a lot of times has a big responsibility of keeping track if the first 2 are hooked up bumper to bumper or not.
When you're driving and the driver behind you is on your rear bumper, how does that change the feel of your truck?
Oh, it wants to lift it up and make it freer, and it dances around left to right from the rear, but you're trying to time the run that you get on the guy in front of you, not to catch him too abruptly. If you have to jam on the brake and you have somebody on you and you spin, it's your own darn fault, buddy.
And I want to tell you, we understand, Vince, when a truck's behind you, you see John Hunter, windshield's clear right now, but look at his hands. He's got to work that wheel. He's got to be ready for the push from behind. If you're just sitting there relaxed at times and somebody hits you, it'll catch you off guard. You've got to just be playing defense every lap.
And that's why you see the drivers looking in that rear view mirror almost constantly. The 88 has jumped to the bottom now and has the lead, and the 2 of Sheldon Creed leads that outside line. Jamie Howe?
If you remember at the start of the race, Sheldon told you over the radio that he didn't think he was going to treat every lap as if it were the last, but during that first stage, he didn't have a truck that was handling well enough that he could do that. He told his team at the pit stop, I need you to tighten it up. I am all over the place. He's feeling much more planted now in the second stage.
Guys, is there a preference, the bottom line versus the top line in the way you anticipate this race unfolding in the early laps like we are here in stage 2?
If you had to choose, you would pick the bottom because you use the double yellow line as what you would call an invisible wall. You won't have to worry about somebody going to your left side. If you're in the upper lane or wherever you end up, you have to watch both sides if you're middle or high. So I would say bottom right now is simpler, but it's more congested down there.
And you know, if you pick the bottom, you've also got to be ready to adapt. You know, you're happy there, and all of a sudden you see a run up top, and you got a chance to get in there. You use both lanes all that you can. It's safer and it feels good to ride right on that yellow line as a leader, though, and just know that if it's going to be hard to get around you with a car on the truck on the outside.
And a caution is out, and it is the 28 of Doza. And that's the first caution for incident today, and some heavy damage on the front end of that truck. Representing the FDNY, the Fire Department of New York.
That's a tough break.
About halfway through stage 2 here.
I don't know if something broke on the truck or if it just snapped around on him.
the safety team there to check on Brian. Top of our screen, we'll see what transpires.
Like he just got loose
Wow.
there, no contact, and boy, cut in front of a few trucks. Fortunately, no others involved. Under caution at Talladega.
We're under caution for the second time in this afternoon's race. From Talladega Superspeedway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR. So cleanup continuing on the back straightaway. You just saw on your vision screen Brian Mendoza having a hard hit to the inside retaining wall coming off of turn number 2. The free pass under this second caution flag of the afternoon will go to Spencer Boyd, a driver that already has a win here back in 2019. Let's go downstairs and check in with Jesse Bunch.
All right, race fans, if you're down here at the Talladega Garage Experience and you're looking for a good spot to watch the race, might I recommend the Tito's Lemonade Lounge. There's plenty of fabulous seating right in front of the big screen, some comfy couches, comfy chairs, lots of picnic tables, and the best part, if you get thirsty, we've got Tito's Lemonade Vodka down here. It's going to be a long day of racing, and you need to stay hydrated. So come get comfortable and watch the races on the big screen.
All right, thanks, Jesse. A lot of fans enjoying themselves this weekend here at Talladega Superspeedway. Look at that, Steve. You've even got Scooby-Doo. You never know what you're going to find.
Hey, next Saturday, it's time to settle the score. Round 3 between Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder for the heavyweight championship of the world. It's next Saturday, live on pay-per-view. Buy it on the Fox Sports app. These guys look mad.
I'll tell you, Tyson Fury is a big man.
He's just scary looking at
Yeah, I wouldn't want to make him mad. I'm out. I just can't imagine those guys punching each other.
Look at the 98 of Grant Enfinger. Been a pretty good week for him. Yesterday it was announced that Enfinger will run full-time at GMS next season. Remember, Enfinger running a part-time schedule this year, bouncing back between a couple of different teams. But next year he'll be full-time in the 23 for GMS. Congratulations to Grant.
That's a beautiful truck, too.
I like that. That's a great move.
Still got a little unfinished business in the Thor Sport camp, though, including the 98 with our buddy Tim Duggar on the back end.
That's right. Duggar's an Alabama guy doing a concert at Talladega tonight. It's always good to see those Thor Sport trucks with different artists on the back. And there's the good-looking number 98 truck, Jamie Howe.
As he makes his second stop on pit lane during this caution. This will be a fuel-only top-off. He was just in, got 4 new Goodyears, and addressed some damage on that left rear fender, but this is a big strategy play for Grant Enfinger.
Good stuff. Thank you, Jamie. And we saw the 75 of Parker Kligerman on on pit road a moment ago as well. Racing with a heavy heart. Briggs Cunningham passing away this week, and certainly a big contributor to Parker's career, and heavy heart helps so many in the NASCAR community. Thoughts with them here today. What a beautiful view of Talladega Superspeedway here in Alabama. About halfway through stage 2, getting ready to go back green. Quickly check in with Jamie Little.
Yeah, Ben Rhodes third right now in the 99, won the first stage today. That was his second on the year. He came on the radio and said the front end is losing grip. He said it's really strange. He's never quite had that sensation at a super speedway. He thinks it has something to do with maybe the splitters. So when they do come in after stage 2, perhaps they'll make an air pressure adjustment to help that handling.
I'm guessing at the super speedway you get a lot of sensations you've never experienced before.
And most of them are not good.
And most of them are in your seat of your pants, I think.
The checkered flag and getting to victory lane is the only sensation that I really enjoyed at Talladega.
You saw the pace truck pulling off. John Hunter Nemechek and Matt Crafton on the front row. That's Rhodes behind Nemechek on the inside line. Creed is behind Crafton. When they take the green flag, there will be 7 to go in stage 2.
The second of 3 races is winding down. Who can take advantage of these pushes in this draft and keep themselves up front?
And can you hold your breath for 7 laps? Because that's about what it's going to be like in that truck. You are hoping your lane goes on the restart, and you're hoping you find momentum each and every lap to try to gain spots.
We haven't seen a lot of jockeying for position until the very end of the stage. We saw that at the end of stage 1 where they fanned out and fought for those stage points. Otherwise, it's going to have been a 2 wide, bumper to bumper. Everybody trying to exercise some patience, hoping to be there at the end, because that's the key, especially for these championship contenders. You got to be there at the end to collect those points and maybe have a chance to win. And if you're a playoff driver and you win today, you know you go to Martinsville breathing easier, knowing you have a spot in the championship 4 and a chance to run for that title.
Let me tell you what's happening now, Vince. The tires are as old as they've been. Obviously, they didn't take tires. The pushes are going to be harder than they've been because they're going for it, getting more and more aggressive every lap. And that's a hard combination to manage. These pushes will get drastic as this stage winds down.
Chandler Smith in the 18 is inside the top 10, coming off his first career win a couple of weeks ago. How's he rolling, Jamie?
Well, if you remember at the start of this race, we talked about how he needed to win the race. That was just what his team told him over the radio. They said there are 6 laps to go in this second stage. We're not going for stage points here. You need to be smart, stay out of trouble, because we are going for the race win.
That's exactly right. This is about race management. If you're a playoff contender, you're trying to do all you can to delicately usher the truck in front of you a little bit further ahead, or you're doing what you can to block the right way to gain these stage points and not put the truck in a jeopardizing situation to get jacked up sideways or wrecked.
You see Chandler Smith at minus 37 there, top of the screen. Hocevar Smith, Zane Smith, Sheldon Creed, the 4 that if the playoffs ended right now, they would not be in the championship 4, but there's a lot of racing left, and those numbers can change in a hurry. Remember, we had 5 the championship contenders finish outside the top 20 last week at Las Vegas.
And there's our buddy Johnny Sauter. Johnny Sauter don't care. He's not in the playoffs. He's going to be pushing, trying to get all he can to be up front. I love it.
Oh, look how loose Crafton Trucks gets.
And this is that point. When you're the lead truck, you are fighting the loosest feel out of all of them.
And John Hunter Nemechek, he sees all the movement that the 88 truck has. He understands he's got to respect that, but he also knows he's got to push.
Oh,
and he pushed him off the racetrack.
Crafton way off the track, and he's going to have to gather it back up and get back in line somewhere, but boy, he's in a tough spot. At least, and a little bit of contact with the 18, but at least Crafton is still rolling.
I hope it didn't do any damage to that right front fender.
Jamie Little.
Close call for Matt Crafton, who just slipped back to 10th right before that contact. He got on the radio screaming about the 4 and said, he cannot be pushing me in the tri-oval. He's got to stop. They told him to focus, and then boom, there was the contact that sent him down the track. He saved the truck, but now he's got a little bit of work to do.
Well, Jamie, if you are seeing on TV what we're seeing, look how loose the 88 is, and the 4 just gives him a bump right as he's exiting the corner. That's a tough place to get a bump.
That's it, right? It's just before the truck loads up on the straightaway, Hunter hit him just a little bit too much and got him way loose, and he can't quite hit him right in that spot, but This is for a stage win. This is for stage points. This is for a championship run here. And the lead truck is always looser than the guys following.
Yeah, Crafton lost a lot of positions, but the good news for him is that he didn't lose his day. He is still rolling, and that could have very easily been the end of his day, and instead he just lost some spots.
He needs every point he can get, though, Vince.
Oh, Nemechek crosses over and now dives down to the bottom for the lead on Creed. What a move from
These boys
John
are getting
Hunter.
racy now. They're crossing over lanes, switching over, high side, low side, blocking. This is going to get big.
Last couple of laps here in stage 2. Pits are closed. John Hunter Nemechek out front. That's Johnny Sauter in the 13 right behind him on the bottom. Sheldon Creed leads the outside line. John Hunter Nemechek's had a couple of close calls with contact himself today, but has been able to gather him up. And now John Hunter's put in the middle.
Is 51 going to come and get him?
Creed and Rhodes on the outside, and Nemechek is dropping.
He's settled back, not too far.
Look at Crafton. Talking about a great driving job, Vince. Gets hit off turn 2 just at the point where you don't want to get a push. Went off the road, saved the truck, and now he's battling back up toward the front.
Nemechek jumped to the outside trying to get a little help, not getting it. Slides back in behind Friesen in the 52. Final lap here on stage 2.
Kurt, do they make it back?
I'm hoping that they do. We want to see as many quality trucks battle for the win at the end. But like you said, Crafton got shoved out of line. He's right back in the mix on the low side. John Hunter's making a lot of moves. He's there, still in the mix. A lot of playoff guys running top 10.
Zane Smith, who desperately needs points, is right there. Second truck on the inside lane.
Sheldon Creed on the outside leading the way, and that's Johnny Sauter on the inside line. And Sauter's been terrific the last month or so, and it's been a season in which he just as soon forget. In fact, the last couple he's missed the playoffs. Of course, a former series champion, but he's missed the playoffs the last couple of years. And now it's a battle to the end of stage 2. Chandler Smith getting a push from Friesen.
Wow.
Who's going to win stage 2? It's Sheldon Creed. Wow.
Creed made that look simple for a quick second because we're back there watching John Hunter changing lanes, and then Ben Rhodes got hung out right at the end.
I didn't see anything that looked simple about that. To me, that was chaos. The organized chaos, however, they made it.
Man, if you zig when you should have zagged, it could be disastrous. But for Sheldon Creed, took him right to the front. He wins stage 2.
Silverado that takes on stage number 2 this afternoon here in Talladega, Sheldon Creed.
Welcome back to Camping World Truck Series racing from the one and only Talladega. It has not disappointed here today. 2 stages down, and it has been thrilling. Austin Hill, Johnny Sauter, the 2 leading points getters today, along with Matt Crafton. Boy, it's been eventful for Crafton there at the latter laps of stage 2. He and John Hunter Nemechek. He and John Hunter Nemechek had a little contact, and here's some radio from the 88 camp.
Good save back there, good recovery. 4. I had it with a another thing ever in your life. Let's come when they're open.
That's Crew Chief Junior Joyner. All those beeps, Kurt, does that make you feel better about yourself?
I thought it was me on the radio for a second. I don't know what was going on. I was having deja vu. I love the intensity.
I gotta tell you,
here's why the 88 is so upset.
And you called it, Kurt. Right when the truck's trying to flatten out, load up. Wasn't quite there yet. No, got that bounce off the bumper of the Ford truck. And watch the great job Matt does. He needs these points desperately. He goes all the way back, nearly outside the top 10.
And these two have kind of been down this road before. Crafton giving a little bump to John Hunter in the dirt at Bristol.
Oh, okay. I'm seeing a little bit of some action here between these two. I love it.
Yeah, this is a little bit of history.
Junior didn't appreciate John Hunter coming by and looking at him like he was angry either. I love Junior Joyner. He's very animated and very into what he does. Obviously, all these teams are. We're going to see some pit stops here. Probably get some tires now.
Junior Joyner not as big as Tyson Fury, who you mentioned earlier, but Junior's got a little fury in him, doesn't he?
He's the worst kind of fury.
The little guy.
Yeah, the little guy that would just beat the crap out of me.
What do you want to do on these pit stops, guys?
I want 4 tires. I think that's going to be a really good call here to have that truck stable at the end. What do you think, Kurt? Track position more important?
No, I would go with a reset right here. I would go with 4 tires, any kind of handling characteristics you needed to already give the crew chief updates on what you're looking for. Looks like everybody's going to be rolling down in here.
I bet you some of them get 2, though, but I like 4.
Here's a crowd on pit road, and Jamie Howe is down there awaiting their arrival.
We'll start off with Johnny Sauter in the number 13. He told the team he is too free. Don't make me any freer. Don't change anything with the setup. So they're not going to touch that. Just going to be 4 tires and fuel for Sheldon Creed. He was happy with the changes that they made on that last round of stops. So he's just going to get some tires and fuel as well, Jamie. Nice rebound by the 88 of Matt Crafton that slipped back to 10th after that run-in with the 4. Raced all the way up to 4th. Meanwhile, Zane Smith on the left wanted to be fixed up just a little bit loose on entry. Air pressure adjustment on the right side. It's good run for the 21 so far.
You see the varying strategies, some with 4, some with 2, some with none.
Well, some of those guys had already pitted during the previous caution, so that was the chance for Todd Gilliland to gain that track position back that he lost repairing that bumper. That was a good call for that team.
2 stages down, the final stage coming your way. The championship contenders still in the hunt, all of them. How's it going to shake out?
Talladega Superspeedway, a place where things can change in an instant. Strap in and enjoy the ride.
The Camping World Truck Series here on FS1. It's presented by Blue Emu. The playoffs are underway. This is the middle race of the round of 8. If a playoff race winner should win today, he automatically punches his ticket to the championship 4. Downstairs for some quick top-offs, guys.
And Chandler Smith, he had already made that pit stop where they took 4 tires and filled them up with some fuel, but they just decided to top it off so that when they have to make a stop later on in the stage, it'll be for less fuel, no tires, looking for the overall win, just like they said, Vince.
I like that, Kurt. You know, anytime you spend on a second less on pit road, if you do it later, it just gains you that much more track position. He didn't have any in the first place, so they decided just to get a little bit extra gas so the next stop will be quicker.
Yeah, that's how calculated everything is now, and he can ride for a little bit too. With this lack of track position, if he's hanging out, you know, like 10th, 15th, you can ride at partial throttle and save a ton more fuel as well.
Good look at Danny Stockman there on the right-hand side. Crew chief for Chandler Smith in that 18. Stockman won a Truck Series championship with Austin Dillon, an Xfinity championship with Austin as well.
And this could be something too where the manufacturers are having a little discrepancy in their own fuel mileage. It could be where Toyota's a little bit worse than the Fords or Chevys and vice versa. So this could be something just to try to make sure you're back on an even playing field.
Blue Emu race summary as we get ready to start the third and final stage.
Thing that jumps off that piece of graphic there for me is a leader, Vince. It's Chase Purdy, and look at the lineup. We've got Tanner Gray up front, Austin Hill, Todd Gilliland. Some guys that had some issues early are now in the front of the field due to strategy.
Would you be a little concerned about a Chase Purdy or a Tanner Gray, 2 drivers that aren't typically in this type of position, leading the field?
Matt Crafton was really concerned about how John Hunter was driving. And so I think you're concerned about every driver, not necessarily a kid like Chase Purdy. He's been around enough where he knows the ins and outs of this game. He'll just pin it to the bottom and see if he can get the proper push and keep control of his truck.
They've just added another lap. That will be Purdy and Tanner Gray on the inside with Stuart Friesen third in line.
And we have no choose rule at the restrictor plate races. That's just to try to keep away some of the ability of the drivers to line up in uniform with either A, the manufacturer, B, their team, C, their brother, D, their sister. It just keeps everybody lined up as they came off pit road.
Almost half the field today has had their best career finish on a super speedway. So, I mean, you've got drivers that typically aren't thinking that they're probably going to have a chance to win. Today, they believe they've got a chance to win. How does that change the dynamic of how the racing unfolds over these final 50 laps?
Well, if you're a team that's not in the playoffs, or if you're a driver that hasn't won a race and you maybe don't have the best truck, you just got to use the strategy, you know, like these guys have done here to get that track position. You know how important as a crew chief it is to get every inch of racetrack you can get on the competition. So I think you come there with a little bit of a kick in your step, saying we're going to show them something today and win a race in NASCAR.
Sheldon Creed won stage 2. Jamie Howe.
And his spotter, Derek Nealon, telling him, I'm sure you've seen it yourself, but I'm noticing that there seem to be issues on corner exit when you're down on that low end, the low side of the racetrack. So just keep an eye on that. Kurt, you've raced here recently. How does he manage that?
Well, you're always hoping that you time the draft right, and you start to back the corner up and look around you, and you find the run through the banking to try to time it to where you separate yourself when you land on the straightaway to be clear of somebody or to not be completely shoved up their tailgate. And then back to like your guys' point about some of the best career finishes happening at a place like this, it's sometimes just minding your own business, being naive, and just running that yellow line and trying to stay out of trouble. I ended up third my first ever time at Talladega, just trying to mind my own business. I didn't know what I was really doing. You never know sometimes here at this place. This is one of those unique places that will always challenge you.
How about the Bama buggy out front?
Yeah, it is. In the third and final stage, we take the green flag with Chase Purdy and Austin Hill leading the way.
All them Alabama fans cheering Chase Purdy right now.
The thing these guys got to remember is this a long final stage. This is a whole different type of race.
Oh, Johnny Sauter jumped from the bottom to the top in front of his teammate Matt Crafton.
I feel like I'm running a race right now. So crazy, so intense.
Hill and Gilliland teaming up on the bottom. That's Brett Holmes in the 32 front truck on the high line. Former ARCA champ.
Getting a nice push from Zane Smith. 21. Will he decide to go to the bottom? Right now he's hanging out up top. I'd have shifted to the bottom there, but
well, what a day it would be if Brett Holmes could bring it home. He's an Alabama kid. Shane Huffman is crew chief. But, it's always special to win anywhere, but when you win at home, it'd be his first Truck Series win. It would make it all the more special for sure.
It's like almost like a re-rack when you're hanging out at the bar playing pool with your buddies. You know, you got a whole different set of numbers that you're looking at.
What about Clay Greenfield and that 11 truck slipping up toward the top 10? And they're shuffling it out in the back.
How about more on Brett Holmes with Jamie Howe?
Well, you said, Vince, it sure is nice when you can win in front of your home crowd. Brett was feeling that pressure this morning. He lives just 15 minutes away. He has over 45 family members and friends here this weekend. And when they were all here to watch him in the ARCA race in April of this year, he led the most laps. He was leading at the white flag, and he put his head down this morning, and he said, I gave that one away. I'm looking for redemption today. That truck, the number 32, they're sponsored. They call it the sticky icky, number 32. He said, I'm going to stick it, icky it into victory lane today.
Well, it's getting a little sticky a little further back in the pack as they've now created a third line. So 3 wide, led by the 19 of Derek Kraus.
Well, you got to do something. They've been hanging out in the back, decided to form up and try something new. See if it goes anywhere.
Hocevar and Chandler Smith with him. Now Smith dives to the middle, and that kind of leaves Kraus and Hocevar by themselves on the outside. Hocevar thinks better of it. He dives down to that middle line as well.
Kurt, you know how special, we're talking about Brett Holmes living 15 miles from the track. You know how special it is to win a home game. What did it feel like when you took the victory in Vegas?
It's beyond, because of all of the support, family, friends, and the love that it took to get to that point. And it's like a back to your first ever legend car race or a late model race type of win. You're like, man, this is so special. Of course it is when you win the whole place. But man, right now, like I just saw John Hunter Nemechek throw a little bit of a wave out. He bailed on this group. It's getting a bit racy. It's the first time we saw 3 wide there for a little bit all day. It's like everybody's at the party right now.
Well, Todd Gilliland up there as well. And Jamie Little, you were telling us before the race that Gilliland felt like this could be his day. It's looking pretty good.
That's exactly right. He didn't want to be a spoiler. He wanted to be the favorite, but it didn't look like today would be his day. He had issues early. He had damage on the right rear bumper cover. He pitted multiple times, even got a penalty on pit road that pushed him in the back. And look who's joined the party. Up in the top 4, really feels strong here and just told his team this truck is fast. Now that he's running up front, he can really feel what they have and what the potential is.
Well, and he is certainly within striking distance. Third truck on that inside line. Just ahead of him is Austin Hill and the 32 of Brett Holmes.
Yeah, Holmes made that move to the bottom, like you said, Mikey, and now that's got Zane Smith and Sheldon Creed on the outside lane.
52 of Friesen with a little damage on that right front.
Not too bad. Should be able to run with that still.
Zane Smith, lead truck on the high line, and Smith, of course, one of those that is championship eligible. Looking to have a great day and maybe even his first win of the season. Stay with us, won't miss a thing. Back on the high banks of Talladega. This is the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. Chevrolet Silverado 150. Brett Holmes leading the way. Holmes out front with Austin Hill, Todd Gilliland behind him, and you saw it on the commercial during the commercial break. Watch the 21 of Zane Smith with a moment here as Sheldon Creed gets into the back bumper.
What a save. That's right there in the same part of the track where we saw Crafton have to get away from him. That's a difficult turn to navigate.
How about that 21, Jamie?
And Zane Smith, he was saying he was loose earlier when he came in and they pitted. They tightened him up, but apparently not enough. Their whole mindset, though, they want a truck that they can be aggressive with. They said it's all offense, no defense today. We must go for it. We must lock ourselves in that championship. And he was optimistic. He won this race in ARCA back in 2018. But Zane Smith in the 21 still hanging tight there in the top 5, Jamie.
And Sheldon Creed right behind Zane Smith has been looking for him all race long for them to get lined up as teammates. Unfortunately, right now, Sheldon is behind him and not in front of him, but it's Johnny Sauter who's next in line that is most upset with the way that line is formed up. He said, I don't understand why the 21's going so wide here. He's zigging, he's zagging, he's killing our entire groove.
You can always drive someone else's truck better than they can. He's just trying to help give him some advice. The fact that he was getting run into probably was a little bit of the zigging and zagging.
It's kind of like a toll road issue, right? You know, it's like, oh man, I want this lane, that lane. Come on, everybody, let's roll.
Well, and you're not driving your truck to benefit somebody from another team 3 trucks behind you.
The big thing that's really going on, though, the GMS trucks are trying to do what they can politely to draft. A lot of times when you're in that outside lane, you got to have a really aggressive guy pushing. And what's happening is Zane Smith's truck's on the loose side. When you're that lead truck and his truck was already loose, now you're struggling to hold it wide open and maneuver what Johnny Sauter's asking about, which is to be closer to the inside lane and to help that outside lane go. A lot of stuff going on at restrictor plate race.
Got that right.
And I got to tell you, we could start seeing some pit stops here pretty quickly. And pitting at Talladega out of the lead draft sometimes causes an accident as well. These guys aren't as experienced as you Cup guys. The communication sometimes isn't.
Oh, there it is. It's Austin Hill and Zane Smith.
It's going to be more too, Vince.
Wow. The big one.
More and more trucks just keep piling in. There is nowhere to go now. And you can't even go through the grass because it'll just rip the splitter off. Oh!
Sauter involved in that one as well. I think it's going to be easier to tell you who wasn't involved. It looks like Ben Rhodes and Carson Hoseva are able to navigate through, but there is a lot of damage. Parker Kligerman.
Man, and that is that spot. Back straightaway, right, Mike? It's that crossover in turn 3, and it looked like the inside lane, somebody swooped from the inside to the out, like they got turned the reverse direction.
Drew Dollar with a great run in his 51 truck. That's done.
These are team owners' worst nightmares, these restrictor plate tracks. I remember racing for Tony Stewart, and he was just like, yeah, I just rode off 4 cars. I'm like, no, Tony, we're on the grid right now, ready to race. Yeah, these plate races tear some stuff up, and a lot of times it was nobody doing anything out of the ordinary.
That all started with Austin Hill. You called it, Vince. We'll see, get a replay and see exactly what happened. Wow, look at the damage
Smith.
to Zane's.
Yep, done. One of the championship hopefuls, and maybe his hopes have taken an even bigger hit today, even after what happened in Las Vegas, and now another one today, and he is likely going to be in a situation of nearly must win at Martinsville.
Wow, damage for Johnny Sauter. Look, he's got one of somebody's bars in the front.
Boy, Sauter had been having a good run today as well.
Man, there's just carnage everywhere, and now it's just it's a mad race against the clock. This damage clock can sit down a bunch of trucks, even though you might be able to patch it back up. It's a heartbreaker for a ton of these guys, and I think right before that, the cutoff line with Zane Smith, I mean, he was like -4. Now I'm looking at it, and he's -40.
Yeah, he's in a walk-off win situation heading to Martinsville. I guess it's, Vince, when you come to Talladega, there was a lot of questions about how you race and what your strategy might be. One thing we know for sure about Zane, he's going to go to Martinsville and say, we got to win.
Hey, what's it like when you get in the ambulance for the ride to the care center with other drivers that you were just involved in an accident with?
You just say, which one of you jerks caused that?
Have you ever been in a situation where it was contentious inside on the way to the care center?
I have not, technically. I mean, at a plate race, there's usually what? Right there, you saw 10-plus guys all mixed in. You don't know who really started it or what happened.
And if you did start it, you just said, wasn't me. I don't know who did it.
Deny.
Until you can at least get out of the ambulance.
Well, let's see how it started. Let's go to the front of the field, and this is picking it up a little bit after initial chaos began.
What about Matt Crafton, one of the first trucks to sneak through there? Haley Deegan sliding sideways in the one truck, but she never hit anything.
I think she's going to get through there clean, but let's look at this replay. This is where we'll see the truck on the inside get hooked and shoved up, and I believe it's like the fourth truck in line.
I think that would have been Gilliland that maybe got into the back end of the 16 of Hill.
Hit the third truck in line, and then it's just it's a push forward, and that's why you always have to know how much room. Wow, Jennifer Jo Cobb coming in there hot. But you always got to know how much room is in front of the truck in front of you. That's the key moment.
And you know, there could be a situation, just an aggressive push. We've seen them do that before today, Kurt, but they got away with it, not this time.
Sheldon Creed got through there, and you know, sometimes it's the accidents you narrowly miss when you look back at the end of the day and say, whew, we won this one because we missed that one. And maybe that's going to be a situation for Creed later today, or maybe even Todd Gilliland.
Great move by Matt Crafton to get through there along with Creed, and now they see all the carnage behind them, and they're going to breathe a little bit easier.
On board here with Gilliland.
Let's listen to the motor.
Yeah, it's off turn 2 down the back straightaway. Let's listen in.
He was getting pushed from behind, Kurt, and you could hear him roll out of the gas. The push from behind got him the extra speed.
He just caught the truck in front of him too quickly, and that's where you have to manage the run when somebody's pushing you as aggressive as they were from behind. Let's go to the radio.
Yeah, I was off the gas. 23 just shoved me straight into him. Yep, 10-4, I seen it. Making sure he knows.
That's a spotter reassuring Todd Gilliland, and you know, that's why that onboard camera view was so important. If you watched it from outside, you'd think that Gilliland was just on the gas and ran into the guy, but you could hear him rolling out and seeing him getting closer to the truck in front of him.
I thought it was interesting too, hearing the spotter Coleman Presley tell him that making sure that we're letting them know. So he's letting the other team's spotter know that he was getting pushed from behind. He just didn't wreck Austin Hill. He was getting pushed from behind himself. And now let's hear the side of the 23 of Purdy.
I'm not sure how that really formulated. I got a huge shove from the 15 into the 38, and then I guess took the 16 with it. Maybe he wasn't square.
A lot of explanations about what happened, and let's see if we can.
Yeah, I don't want to sound like the old guy here or the veteran, but there's responsibility that comes with when you get a push, and you don't necessarily have to go anywhere with it each time.
And then, but you know, when you heard Purdy talking, he was getting a pretty good shove from behind as well.
Oh yeah, this is like 5 guys that all added up at the top of the escalator, and the first guy didn't get off. That's turn 3 at Talladega. This back straightaway, there's so many options all the time. And here we are.
This is what you want to see. Plenty of space between you and the mess.
Riding with John Hunter Nemechek, who bailed out on this. And the 99, we got Ben Rhodes right there.
There's still a few of them up there hauling the mail. I like what John did. He knew that there was room to the bottom. He just geared down and went low and waited it out.
Kind of sniffed that one coming. That's when you know things are rolling your way. When you make a move like that, something happens within 10 laps.
And nearly 20 trucks involved in that one. And well, it's Talladega. You expect it to happen. Maybe even more than once. We got a long way to go in this one.
Just barely above it right now. 4 points of the good for Crafton, 3 to
under red at Talladega. NASCAR Camping World Truck Series playoff race. And we've had about, we're guessing 18 trucks, we think, that have been involved in this big one. Maybe the first and only, maybe the first of multiple. We've got a long way to go here at 36 laps remaining. Austin Hill was involved in the incident up at the front. He's with Jamie Howe.
Austin's been cleared from the medical center. You even came out with a smile on your face. You were the first one to be sent for a ride. Take us through it.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen the replay, but seemed like, you know, the inside lane was pretty good. You know, here we got it right here. It seemed like the inside lane was forming up pretty good. And I don't know if it kind of looks like the 38 might have got hit by the 23 there, and it just kind of got him off center of me. And when he did, I didn't even know I was wrecking until I was already in the fence. It just happened so fast. So I thought me and the 38 were working really well together. Our United Rentals Toyota Tundra was really fast today. You know, we were just biding our time. Didn't really force the issue on pushing anybody too hard. Just knew there was a lot of racing left, and you know, just thankful for NASCAR and all them for keeping us safe, because that was a pretty decent hit that I took there, and I was like a pinball machine getting knocked around by all the other trucks. But hopefully everybody else is okay as well. You know, Talladega, you know, what else do you say? This is the, you know, product you get when you come to these places. You know, sometimes you end up on the hook, and sometimes you end up in victory lane, and today we're on the hook. So can't thank all the guys from HRE enough, and you know, we'll go on to the next one, see if we can not end up in the urgent care. I've been in these things too often here lately, so we got to get out of this place.
When you go on to the next one, it is with HRE, with Hattori Racing, but you announced earlier today not returning with them in 2022. What can you tell us about your future?
Yeah, I mean, you know, we're just searching around, just trying to look around at other possibilities, other opportunities. You know, don't know what the future holds yet, but it's starting to look pretty good. That's about all I can say, and you know, excited for things to come in the near future. So you know, we'll play it by ear here for a little while and see what happens. But yeah, everything's looking good right now.
Still a couple left in 21. Thank you, Austin.
Thank you.
Well, good that we see Austin able to smile as he exits the care center.
That's one of the best interviews I've heard after a wreck. I mean, he just was very matter-of-factual about it. Lucky to be not hurt and happy to move on. So great interview.
And how about Matt Crafton? I don't know if he was lucky to get through or if it was skill that got him through, but okay, here he is in the circle there in that neon yellow truck, and you let me know here.
I'm going skill. He got lucky when another truck booted a guy that he was going to run to out of the way, but Matt was cool and calm. Watch that yellow truck.
Takes a little bit of skill not to yank on the wheel or jump on the brakes. And then here's where I think there's more luck involved. Sauter kind of takes it for the team right there, but that's just bad luck on Sauter's side of it. Man, it's nuts.
It is a mess.
And out of all that mess, really, from a playoff perspective, you see the 18 of Chandler Smith up there at the top of the screen during that incident, and there's Chandler rolling now, or was rolling. But the 18 and the 21, the only two playoff drivers that were involved sustaining significant damage. Got 19 trucks, we believe, on the list. The biggest big one in the truck series at Talladega. Plenty of racing left. Don't go anywhere.
What happened from your position, and how does this run kind of shape
back under yellow after that red flag following the 19 truck pileup. And that took out a couple of championship hopefuls in Zane Smith and Chandler Smith.
You were at 18, now you're at 19.
Yep, we're adding to the list. Pit stops while we were away. Let's check in with Jamie Howe.
And it was Stuart Friesen who was first to stop, and they made the decision, he and his crew chief John Leonard, that they were going to go ahead and take 4 tires, even though they originally just wanted to do a fuel-only stop. Because of all the debris on the racetrack, they were afraid they might have run over something. Unfortunate issues, slow pit stop there, fuel-only for Sheldon Creed. Jamie Little.
38 of Todd Gilliland said, this is the point in the run that I start getting loose. He wanted tires, but Chris Lawson, his crew chief, said, I don't think it's worth it at this point. I'll give you a track bar adjustment. They went down, around, and fuel for the 38.
Well, and there's that 18 of Chandler Smith. Not done in the sense of to the garage, but well, I got to say, we've seen trucks and cars with a lot of damage finish races in good positions at these super speedways, but I don't think it's going to be Chandler's day today. Sheldon Creed, though, stage 2 winner.
It's not even safe on pit road.
He's dodged it a couple of different times today.
Laps to go here in Talladega. Red flag has been lifted, back circling under the caution flag after the big crash. One of the drivers involved on the 19 back there on the Alabama game super stretch, playoff contender Chandler Smith. Now, Kim Kuhn, they got the wheels on the truck, and it looks like everything looks like it might roll, but there's a lot more going on there.
Absolutely, Alex. So you remember when the crash first happened, if you're not like who was involved in it, I said that the radio to Chandler not to have to drop the window down because they thought they could keep going and just needed a push start to get into pit road. Well, he did get that push start. Unfortunately, timing on the push start not great. That happened after the red flag. So NASCAR radioed to the team after he got his truck on the pit road and said, you guys have to start before you work on the car, or he faced a 4 penalty. So the decision was, once the red flag was taken, that Chandler back out to the finish line.
Welcome back to Talladega, where we are approaching 31 to go in the Camping World Truck Series playoff race. We are still under caution, getting ready to go back to racing after the big one. Zane Smith, you were involved in it. You had already been tagged a couple times by your teammate. We talk about the energy out on the racetracks. How aggressive was it today?
Yeah, I mean, that's just something a playoff race at Talladega kind of brings. This is my first time, I guess, seeing it right here. But from my view, it looked like the 38 was just pushing maybe a little bit too hard, and then I don't know, it's just not his fault or really anybody's fault. It's just kind of a product of this place and Daytona as well. So unfortunately we were at the bad end of the stick there. But yeah, I don't know what else I could have done differently. Honestly, a really good race. I felt like having my teammate behind me and basically controlling that kind of front row would have turned out really good there.
All right, we're going to get back to green. Unfortunate end for Zane Smith.
Well, all drivers that were involved in that have been checked and released from the care center. That's good news. And we are getting ready to go back to green. As you look on the right-hand side of the screen of all those involved, we counted 19 involved in that wreck, including Zane Smith and Chandler Smith, the championship hopefuls whose championship hopes took a big hit today. 31 to go, and that's Todd Gilliland on the bottom, getting some help from Grant Enfinger.
If you're thinking at home it's going to be a little more calm now that we lost half the field, you're wrong. It's not going to be. The laps are winding down. There's a championship that could potentially be on the line, and these guys are going to shove and push just like they were before that big crash happened.
Carson Hocevar leading that outside lane in that red Chevrolet 42 truck.
He's my pick, Vince. He survived the big one.
You did a little dancing with him this week. How is he? Light on the feet? Or?
Very light. Just a great spirit. Just a great young man that loves getting to race a truck, and he's done an amazing job. He's completed the most laps of anyone this season, and that's amazing for a teenager in his first full season to be able to accomplish that.
Youngest driver in the field today, just 18 years old.
Yeah, that's an amazing accomplishment to be able to just click off laps and have the most completed out of anybody.
And I was most impressed at Bristol when he stayed out on those old tires. I thought they would run through him quickly. He was able to hang on.
I think he's got a secret weapon. His spotter is Tyler Green. That's who helps me out in the Cup Series. It's always good to have leadership around you, and from in your ear and in your helmet on a super speedway race, Tyler Green's one of the best.
Well, Hocevar's got some work to do, though, as you see currently minus 28. This is the second of 3 races in this round, the playoff round. We'll run at Martinsville later this month, and the top 4 after Martinsville will advance to the championship. And if one of those drivers should win here today, they punch their ticket to Phoenix to run for the championship in November. Jamie Little.
Ben Rhodes in the 99 made an adjustment. They went down on the track bar in that first stop, and with 32 to go, he came in and topped it off. His team just told him on the radio, there's not enough trucks to run a second line, so just stay on the bottom, hug it down there. So obviously this race right now, guys, has a completely different look than the first half.
Oh, the complexion's changed 180 degrees. This is just like when you're getting towards the end of stage 1 or stage 2, and everybody 15th on back drops out. What happened with that big one is everybody was jumping in the pool, wanting to go hard, and now you're back with about as many trucks that would run for a stage run at the end. So it's going to be single file here for a little bit.
And if I'm back there 10th or 12th, then not much to lose, right? I'm going to pop up to that outside if I can see anybody making some runs, and that's exactly what Stuart Friesen is trying to do right there. He doesn't just want to sit there because he knows it's going to be next to impossible to get where he is now to the win. He needs to make some progress, hoping for some quality trucks to jump up and try the high side.
The 22 of Austin Wayne Self, that red and white truck that's slow on the inside down below the double yellow line as the field runs past him, led by Todd Gilliland in that blue and yellow 38. And then you've got 3 ThorSport trucks, Enfinger, Crafton, and Rhodes. Remember, they finished 1, 2, 3, 4 at our last race at Las Vegas, and they are running up front again today.
Yeah, you gotta love how those guys just seem to all kind of get teamed up together and create that powerhouse. And it's going to be tough to kind of separate those guys once we get further down into this race. Let's check it on the 99 radio.
Crafton in the 98 want to leapfrog. The 38, I guarantee the 4 will stay with me. We can all leapfrog them. We've got 1 spot.
That's just politicking. He's asking his team to tell his teammates, let's go. Let's hop to the outside, make a move.
I like it, though. I mean, Rhodes is showing the confidence on these plate races, and he continues to impress. And now he's directing orders, trying to make sure that they make all the right moves.
Well, and he was assuming that the 4 would go with them, and you think, well, why would the KBM truck go with the ThorSport guys? Well, they're all Toyotas, so give you a better chance to take that Toyota line to the top and victimize Gilliland in the process.
What about that 32 truck of Brett Holmes, solidly in the top 10? What a great day for the Alabama native.
Yeah, I love what we're doing at this point. This is Talladega. This is where you try to create all these scenarios, and you're trying to think all the different ways things can play out. And with Holmes right now, Alabama boy, he's the wild card that I'm seeing in this mix that could really end up with a big day.
Well, and with coming to 25 to go, you can't assume that this is the way it's going to finish. We're going to have some chaos here before we're all said and done. You won't want to miss it.
Sheldon's making.
They're still running in an orderly fashion. How much longer do you give that, guys?
Not much. You can see the outside line's forming.
Yes, it is.
Listen to some chatter of the spotters. They didn't think there were enough trucks to make this happen. But Sheldon Creed said, I got to take a chance. You're not going to win, Kurt, if you're sitting back there in 7th or 8th and just riding the line.
Chase Purdy got into the back end of the 52 of Friesen a little bit there. Made Friesen wiggle, but he gathered it up. And you got two good trucks there at the front of that outside line, too. And that's Creed and Friesen, a couple of championship contenders. Not to take anything away from the 23 or the 11, but you've got guys that are running for the championship and know how to get to the front from that outside line.
Really cool to see Clay Greenfield having a good run in that 11 truck. He's joined that outside party. There's Stuart Friesen.
Here's what I see brewing up, though. This Thor Sport group, they've got Crafton and Rhodes championship eligible. And what does it take to get to the championship round? It takes a golden ticket. And somebody today wants to get that. And with that group of them up front, they're controlling this race in my mind.
And the 38 is Todd Gilliland. He's not in the hunt for the championship any longer, but he's in the hunt for the win today.
Tell me what you think. You can see it. I can. As long as these teammates stay loyal, the bottom's going to be the place to go. If they start becoming unloyal, then we'll have a decision to make.
That decision's going to come sooner than they thought, because there's a lot of process being made up top, Jamie Little.
Yes, there certainly has been, and a lot going on with the 38. They were talking about fuel as well. They last pitted on lap 60. They told him we're good to go to the very end, but if we get a green-white checker, which very often we do here, that could be dicey. They asked him if he could just breathe the throttle a little bit, and he said, no way. Leading this race race right now. I have no opportunity to get off throttle. I am 100% right now.
Well, and you talk about the possibility of a green-white checker. We've gone to overtime here at Talladega 6 times in 15 races as we reach the Camping World 20 to go here at Talladega.
Man, I hate when there is a request.
Oh, look at the bump.
Oof. A request of saving fuel while you're leading in the final stage of a race. Man, it's the toughest thing to do, especially when everybody else has fuel.
You see why they push there, why they bounce into the back of each other. Look at the progress that couple of bumps made for that outside lane, led by Sheldon Creed in the 2.
Gilliland got to be so conscious, as they all do, of what's happening behind them as Enfinger comes up to tap the rear bumper. Gilliland spotter, by the way, Coleman Presley. He was the spotter for Brad Keselowski here in the spring when Keselowski won the Cup race.
You know, what I like out of right now, the playoff guys, Friesen has done the most today as far as passing trucks. It seems like he's passed a ton, but he's like worked the hardest, worked the smartest, and right now he's running top 5 like he's been doing all throughout the playoffs.
Playoff season is Friesen season.
It's getting chilly outside.
He likes it.
Bumper to bumper, the 38 and the 98 of Enfinger. Jamie?
And he is all over that back bumper of Todd Gilliland right now, but I'm going to go back to what he said before the race. He said, I was with my full sport teammates. Oh, and he goes around.
It's a big hit. Hocevar involved in it as well. Friesen is involved.
I'm just throwing my clipboard down right now. I don't know what the 98 was wanting to do there. There was no reason. There's still more than 20 to go. 20 to go. Oh, man.
Haley Deegan involved again. And there's Willie Allen, the 98 of Enfinger.
The Enfinger truck made a move. I'm like, where's he going? What's he up to? And then, man, I just feel like I jinxed Friesen on that deal. But there's still so many laps to go. I was listening to you, Mikey, though. Like, you got to make your move. You got to get to the front if you want to have a chance at it. But yet, there's still so many laps to go. And that's what makes Talladega so tough as for a driver, for a team, for everybody.
We'll have to see it on the replay, but it looked like Enfinger was jumping out to jump in front of Creed so they could pass.
He made the move to the top side
to take the lead. Yeah,
there's a lot of blocking that went on there.
He did. He made the move by himself, and then the amount of loss of momentum, that's why Creed caught him so quickly, and they're in the banking, exiting turn 4 in a tough spot. So here's Enfinger. He makes the move to the outside for the lead, and then Creed's looking to make a move, and then by this time, you're already changing way too many lanes.
Oh, and Stuart Friesen's so close to slipping through.
And I think Creed had a little bit of contact with Friesen in that 52, but doesn't look to be too significant of damage, so Creed may have avoided
and now
disaster.
I'm looking at Hocevar. His radiator has been dumped out on the track. Man, he tried too hard to block, but at the same time, there's no reason to jump up.
So you think, Kurt, that Enfinger made the move too soon?
In my mind, yes, especially with teammates all lined up in the bottom lane. There was no real reason to be in this much of a hurry.
He's in good position here, but then when Creed jumps to the outside, Enfinger goes out the blocking.
And the difference in speed between those two trucks is just significant. And I don't know that Creed could have gotten off of the back of the 98 if he wanted to. What do you think, Kurt?
I don't think so. No, it's just lane change in central, and things get busy up front. Especially with the loss of momentum for a lead vehicle. That lead vehicle always gets hit with that air, and you're pushed back into the other guy. I was on board with John Hunter Nemechek. It looks like he's able to squeak through there without too much, but Hocevar, he's going to end up the worst as far as a playoff guy, along with Friesen.
I think Creed, does he even?
Yeah, they hit right there.
A little bit of contact, and that's all it takes at that speed.
Yep.
Enfinger was, like Kurt said, changing lanes, losing momentum. Any kind of bump right there, as you see, would result in a spin.
Hocevar climbing out of his truck, and he is a shake of the head there with his frustration, and understandably so.
Man, the playoff picture was clearing up just a bit, and now it takes a big turn for the worse for a few of our guys.
But isn't that what we expected here today? I mean, we expected that, right?
Yes.
And what's happened, though, is a lot of times, though, it's not of your own doing. That's what Talladega does. It chews you up when you were just kind of trying to ride. But let's check in with Creed's radio and listen in.
So good about it. I hit him square. It was almost like he was having problems, like he was blowing water. He kept coming up. Didn't mean to wreck him.
No, I agree. He didn't mean to wreck him, you know? Like, it's just, again, the middle lane, switching up to the high lane. The momentum loss is the key thing.
Yeah. And the truck's light right there, too. You're coming off turn 4, transitioning to the bank, and it's just a combination of issues that caused what we see here, 7 racers in a crash.
We had 19 involved in the earlier incident, the big one, if you will, and fortunately, this one was not quite as significant, but unfortunate for those involved, that's for sure. And it took out some big names, some championship contenders, and we're not done yet.
Talladega Superspeedway have not got the one to go as of yet. Kim Kuhn, Stuart Friesen's playoff truck still sits on the pit lane.
Yeah, they're under the damaged vehicle policy. In fact, Ricky Gunther giving the crew an update right now. They're probably just over a little bit of 2 minutes left on this damaged vehicle policy, and they have done a lot on this truck so far. Payment and the hood was completely buckled up. In fact, they had to get mallets to knock the hood pins out in order to get the hood off. Now the hood completely off. Now what they're working on is the grill opening was pushed so far down that when he's gone on the racetrack, there was no clean cool air to get to that engine. So right now they're trying to lift the front end of that race truck up, move up so that the engine can get air. Also, they got saws out the left front. They're likely going to have to cut away. And again, the team going to work on this as the minutes are winding down. Got to winding down on a damaged vehicle policy of playoff driver Stuart Friesen.
Well, this is big for Stewart. Right now he is 8 below the cut line. Gotta believe they just want to get out there and soldier on. They know they've got no shot to win. But if there was another Carson, they've got to make hold and they out of the corner. Yeah, they're gonna have to go on Speedway there in South Carolina. Shoot up the front door. It's fairly simple where their position is right now. Basically, he is down the right at that line.
Welcome back, NASCAR Truck Series Racing here on FS1, presented by Blue Emu. 15 to go under yellow, and you see the damage to that 52 truck of Stuart Friesen, just one of our championship hopefuls that have had their hopes, at least for this day, dashed because of significant damage to their trucks. One of those who has managed to avoid the mishaps so far is the 88 of Matt Crafton, but it has been eventful. Watch, saved this one after the bump from Nemechek. He lost a lot of positions, but he was able to stay in the mix, and then this near miss.
Save number 2.
And then this one.
Save number 3.
Some days it's just your day. This one's looking a lot like it might be Matt Crafton's turn to finally win on the super speedway.
And isn't that what we said at the beginning of the show? Maybe this would be his day. 0 for 36 on the super speedways during his career.
I've got the red button over here, Mikey. Should I press it?
Yeah, let's talk to him.
Let's press the red button.
Matt Crafton, Michael Waltrip, and the Fox Boys. Do you copy?
There, loud and clear.
What did you say? Pretty eventful day so far for you. Wow, what a job you've done missing wrecks and staying out of trouble.
Had decent stages. The 4 got us loose off of 2 back there, and the second stage came back to rebound. But these guys brought a very fast Menards Toyota Tundra, so now it's my responsibility to go do something with it.
Well, you certainly put yourself in a position to do just that. They said earlier today you hadn't won on the super speedways. Let's put that stat in our history here today. What do you say,
brother?
Appreciate you, bud.
Got a little business to tend to, and so does Jamie Little.
Well, Carson Hocevar avoided the big one earlier, only to be collected this time for your worst finish in the playoffs so far. Carson, what did you see there?
I mean, I didn't really see anything. I just saw the 98, and I turned to the left. I don't know if the 12 hit me or not. I don't know. But either way, got light off of 4 and just lost it. I can lock it down, but just sucks. We didn't get stage points or anything. Yeah, there's nobody behind me or something. It's close, but yeah, it's just unfortunate. These Nice Motorsports guys work really well, and you know, they worked their guts out, and we stayed out of trouble, but we didn't get stage points, so we needed a really good run, and just gonna be a must-win for Martinsville.
All right, thanks, Carson. Vince?
Must win for many at Martinsville, and you know what that means. It's gonna be quite a battle at Martinsville, as it always is. But hey, we're not done here at Talladega yet. Who's going to bring it home today? October 30th, the final race of this round of 8 takes us to the Paperclip, Martinsville, Virginia. And some good old-fashioned short track racing with high stakes, because after that race, we'll know our championship 4, who will run for the title. The elimination race at Martinsville.
We might know one of our championship 4 today, but Todd Gilliland's certainly showing that he has something to say about that. He's not eligible to race for the championship, and he's leading the race.
Crafton, Rhodes, Creed, Nemechek, 4 of our championship contenders in the top 6. They'd take it just to end right the way it is, wouldn't they? I mean, take the points and get out of here and say, whew, thank goodness.
Absolutely they would be, but man, that could be wild with not anybody guaranteed to have a golden ticket going into Martinsville. I mean, this is getting bigger.
12 to go with Gilliland and Crafton out front. 12 remaining when they take the green.
Is that gold ticket y'all talk about? Is that in victory lane? Is that where they locate that at?
If you're a playoff contender.
I got you.
Above the cut line. Yes, sir. Love it. This is getting big now. The restart's at the end. There's only so many trucks left. This is Talladega. That's why they keep saying, coin that phrase. Wow, pushing aggressive.
Those championship contenders, the 99, the 88, the 2, the 4, right there in the front. And the 38 of Gilliland trying to play spoiler. Chase Purdy in the 23 right there. How about Brett Holmes, last year's ARCA champ, 4th in line on the inside in that blue and yellow 32.
What about on the outside? Keith McGee in the top 10 in that 41 truck. Did an amazing job of working his way through that crash, and he can see the lead.
He's had a heck of a run today, hasn't he?
Yes, he has. That's fun to see. That's what we love about Talladega. Guys that get the opportunity to have a good truck and put it in a good position and try to get a great finish.
Championship standings as they run up top. Remember, one of those championship guys wins today, they guarantee themselves a spot in the final race of the season and an opportunity to run for the title. That neon yellow 88, Matt Crafton, he's a 3-time series champion. Wants nothing more than to win his 4th title, but that driver there to the inside of him in the 98, the 99, that silver 99 from the Thor Sport camp, Ben Rhodes, our championship leader currently, seeking his first championship.
It's like the 88 just doesn't quite have the speed to lead that outside lane, and Creed said, I'm out of here. He went to the low side. Then John Hunter Nemechek jumped in there and still hasn't been able to push up Crafton on the outside.
And that's strange because Crafton's been so fast. He's been able to leave that upper line. So I don't know what the deal is, but he certainly lost some momentum here.
Yeah, he told you during that interview there when you just had with him how fast he felt like their truck was.
See if he's able to rebound. But yeah, right now the momentum's not on his side. Low lanes forming up, and Todd Gilliland continues to throw down on this group of playoff guys.
Tate Fogelman, another driver searching for a great day at Talladega. He's running in the top 10, 6th position, right there in that black truck. Tyler Hill behind him.
And remember, when they start dicing for the win up ahead, and they might start collecting one another, somebody like a 56 there, Tyler Hill, could he, sneak in and get that victory? It's happened before. The 0-4 there, Corey Roper, nearly won at Daytona in the series opener.
Well, he seems to have some of the notebook of what to do. He's got himself in the top 10 again here at the end of a plate race, right in the mix. Minimal damage on his truck, and wow, it looks like there must have been some momentum break because that group somehow got separated from those lead 5. That's weird to see.
Crafton has lost the group.
That's strange.
5-truck breakaway at the front.
Inside 10 to go.
Gilliland, Rhodes, Purdy, Holmes, and Creed.
This is that point in the race where you look around for that broomstick in the truck, and that's where you shove it between the throttle pedal and whatever you can brace it between, because you're not going to be lifting until the end of this race.
We talked about potential first-time winners. We mentioned that early in the show with Chandler Smith and Christian Eckes winning the last 2 races, both being first-time winners. Who would be a potential first-time winner today? And you've got that 23 of Chase Purdy and the 32 of Brett Holmes right up there in the front, and they have not won in their Truck Series career. Right now they sit 3rd and 4th in prime position.
And we know Ben Rhodes' attitude. We heard him earlier say, let's go, let's pass somebody. If he can get any kind of momentum, any kind of push from behind, that's what I would be doing, Kurt, as a driver right now. I'd be laying off the gas and rolling back to the front bumper of the 23 truck and just see how the push would work for me. Start playing those games right now so you know you got a plan on the last couple of laps.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I was just joking about the broomstick thing. There's really no broomstick in the truck to hold the throttle down all the way. This is where you want to start messing around with Todd, and I say there's 0% chance that the 99 stays in line behind the 38. And you're exactly right, Mikey. This is where you start to try to time the runs, drag the brake a little bit, see if the 23's got the right mindset to roll with you. It's a good group of trucks up front.
99 radio, Ben Rhodes.
Find out if the 23 wants to work together. We'll pass the 38 eventually. Just hold that ball on me. I'll get him up there.
That's what we just talked about, Mikey. It's like we know what we're doing here.
Well, we've done it a few times, that's for sure. And you know, just putting your foot on the floorboard and following the 38 means that's where you're going to stay. So whether it's riding the brake a little bit or rolling out of the gas, you got to start playing those games.
Crafton continues to fall back. And the 4 and the 88 again getting together. It's the second time that John Hunter has moved Matt Crafton out of the way today.
Wowzers. Might have to separate those two teams on pit road afterward.
I wouldn't like to hear Junior Joyner at the end of this race. I'm sure the crew chief for Matt Crafton is not going to be happy.
Well, Crafton has, something has happened because he was running up front, had the speed to run up front, told us on our interview he felt like they had great speed, and all of a sudden he has dropped, and now Crafton finds himself just barely inside the top 15, second truck from the end of this line.
Yeah, that's very puzzling. I have no idea what to even try to expect from what's the update down there. We've got the 52 with Friesen though, Jamie. What's his story?
Stuart Friesen has been checked and released. Most consistent driver in the playoffs coming in. A brand new truck today. Where did it go wrong?
In 4, I guess, you know, Sheldon was getting shuffled and just gave Grant a push and thought I was going to slide by in the middle. That's how it goes here, you know. I guess I should have been waiting in line on the bottom, but still probably could have got wrecked. So big thanks to Halmar, big thanks to everybody at Toyota. We got a couple stage points and avoided the first disaster. So hi to Parker and Jess, everybody at home. Love you guys and see you tonight.
Thanks, Stuart.
Thank you.
Nemechek still trying to get to the front, pushing Ryan Truex now.
And he's pushing him like he was Matt Crafton. There seems to be a theme here. There he goes to the bottom. John Hunter knows he's got to make progress. He's got to get up through this pack.
Yeah, but with 4 laps left, does he have enough time to get there?
4 laps scheduled to be left. We'll see if we can complete it without going NASCAR overtime.
Currently riding 10th. Todd Gilliland continues to lead. Gilliland led the most laps at Las Vegas. Ended up 5th. Today he's led the most laps. Where's he going to finish today?
Here we go. We got Rhodes pushing the heck out of Gilliland to shove him out there up front. And let's see how he's able to manage the draft coming in from behind with Purdy.
Yeah, I would back off more. Give that a whirl. Maybe that's what that was all about, just trying to figure out how to give the push so that he could back off and then get pushed.
Yep, to create more of an accordion effect. It's be interesting. See who's going to make moves.
Brett Holmes runs 4th. Sheldon Creed 5th.
Now
you
Crafton's
can feel
trying to push
the anticipation building.
You know what happens time and time again at these play races is that you get your group together in that top 5 and you have a plan, and then the inertia from behind, like 6th on back, starts getting 2 wide, 3 wide, and then there's no run from behind, and then the leaders are somewhat frozen in the spot that they're in.
Nemechek 9th in line. Long way to go here for Nemechek if he's to get to the very front in just a couple of laps plus.
Oh, big push from the 23 onto the back of the 99 here.
2 to go when they cross the line. Todd Gilliland continues to lead here at Talladega.
John Hunter continues to try to chip away back there and make something out of it. And again, there they go. They're getting 2 wide back there.
Crafton trying to get up on that top line and maybe make one last push to the front. John Hunter Nemechek needs a little momentum too. They're starting to separate now and go 2 wide. That outside line with Chase Purdy and Brett Holmes. What's Gilliland going to do? Gilliland is down on the bottom. Rhodes trying to figure out what he wants to do. Creed is up top. It's Chase Purdy in front now.
That was a great move. I mean, now they're just getting all jammed up back there.
Here
John
comes Nemechek and Crafton on the outside. Strange bedfellows considering
he got turned.
And it's Purdy going around and caution is out. We have not taken the white flag, so that means we're going to get overtime.
Do we have enough gas for overtime? We'll see. That was just Purdy let his truck wander up off the bottom, Kurt, it looked like, and opened up the door and then tried to close it, and there's no way you're backing out of the gas if you're Todd Gilliland.
Yeah, he needed to get that truck back down to the bottom and just assert it right there and close the door. But you can see there's damage on Todd Gilliland's right front headlight. It's just knocked plumb out. He wasn't lifting.
that's gonna make it hard to lead, obviously, with a hole in the nose.
I'll tell you what, if we'd have stayed green and gone to the finish, I think Nemechek and Crafton, they had teamed up on the outside. As odd as that sounds, the way Crafton and Nemechek have had their issues today, they had the momentum on the top.
Wow. I wonder, you want to know, you got a hole in your nose, Kurt, if you're the spotter of the team, or do you say, let's keep that between us?
I mean, Gilliland has been labeled as the leader as far as the last timing zone. And so, I mean, you got the hole in right front headlight. Here's a replay of it. I mean, Purdy did an incredible job to grab the draft from Holmes. And then he left the inside open a little bit as we come around towards the tri-oval.
You got to shut that door. Yep. You cannot go off that yellow line. It's your best friend. You've got to protect down there. And he just leaves enough of that racetrack open where Gilliland gets in there and then make contact.
Oof. It's a game of inches.
Look at that mess. Watch Matt Crafton. He's still trying to get more. As Purdy goes around, he's on the outside trying to make passes, make moves.
It's amazing on how many different things you can focus in on at plate racing.
Crafton and Nemechek right back in the mix after running back outside the top 10 just a few laps ago. Let's go on board with Gilliland.
If you're Gilliland, you're thinking this guy's going to block on the bottom and keep that lane. I'm not going to have a chance, but he left enough of a hole there.
Is that inexperience on Purdy's?
Yeah.
A little bit of inexperience and bad timing. That is where the double yellow line actually moves to the left somewhat artificially, just so that it follows the way the banking drops off. Just bad timing to not be in the right spot.
Hey, Crafton looked like he had plenty of speed right there, didn't he? He shot into that picture.
And he's been about spun out twice by Nemechek, and he's saying, darn, I guess I got to help this guy now. That's what plate racing does to you. Makes strange bedfellers.
There's only going to be about 4 trucks left without any damage.
Overtime here at Talladega for the 7th time. Is it going to be a first-time winner today? Well, the last 3 races here at Talladega, we had drivers that led only the last lap to get the win, and for Lassard and Boyd, their first wins. Boyd got that win after Sauter was penalized for improving his position below the double yellow line.
That's not such a crazy stat. It's called restrictor plate racing, and how you have to get to that point to win is you have to survive all these different restarts, survive all these different wrecks, put yourself in position, have enough gas, not get a flat tire, not have too much bear bond, not have, I mean, just the list goes on and on and on about a plate race and the amount of things that can come your way to take that win away.
There's Todd Gilliland's dad, David, or excuse me.
Yeah, you did that, right?
Yeah, I get that all mixed up between David Reagan and all these sons and things.
You mentioned, Kurt, position. What position do you want to be in the restart and overtime here combination?
I'm going to defer to Mikey. I've lost so many super speedway races by not being the leader, by being the leader. I've run out of gas. I was trying to make a pass. Go ahead, Mikey.
I'm nervous if I'm Todd Gilliland. That's a lot of damage on the right front of that truck, and it's just going to take air inside of it, and it's going to cause a lot of drag. That truck's going to be slow. He's going to be leading the race. I don't know. I think he's in a bit of a bind. You got a couple of really fast trucks in Rhodes and Nemechek and Crafton. We've seen the speed of those guys and the experience of those guys. I just, Todd's been so good all day long, but that's a lot of damage in my eyes.
It is, and now if you're stuck running third without lane choice, that means you're Nemechek, and you're going to line up behind Gilliland. This is where the crew chief, spotter, everybody needs to be communicating about the 38's damage.
And how about radio from the 38?
Just ask him when he's on the banking, Coleman, if he looks like the fuel pressure's fluctuating at all. If it's not, I think we're going to be okay. I think it's been staying good. I'll make sure to look this time. Yeah, just tell him to do all he can. We're going to need all we can get.
Jamie Little.
And Chris Lawson, the crew chief on the box. Chris, you guys said you were going to be concerned about fuel if we had a green-white checker, so we're here. Plus, you have the damage on the grill. How concerned are you right now to make it to the end?
I'm fairly concerned, but it is what it is at this point. So just up to him. We'll see how it goes. The hole definitely isn't going to help. But if we got enough fuel to get to the end, I think he's definitely got a shot. So we'll see how it goes.
All right, good luck. Thank you.
Fairly concerned. Isn't everybody fairly concerned at this point? I mean,
but you know,
man.
there's some damage at Daytona and Talladega that doesn't really hurt you that much. That's not one of those.
Yeah. And how much of an impact is that to Nemechek, who has to be behind that truck?
Well, he's gonna realize real quick. His spotter's probably already told him that truck's gonna be a little bit slow. He's gonna push the heck out of him. We'll see what happens.
And what that does, though, is that sometimes artificially drags extra drag into that lead vehicle, and that second truck can stay attached to his rear bumper more easily. I actually had that at the last Superspeedway race in a cup car. I was pushing Daniel Suarez on the last lap. He had damage on the front of his car, and it allowed me to stay tucked in tighter, which can help or it could be disastrous. And I ended up hooking Suarez and wrecking him. I hope everybody is able to make through here and put on a good show, but I think we're going to see some more action.
How about that 12 of Tate Fogelman, third truck on the inside? We've talked about unlikely winners throughout the course of the day today. Fogelman's in a pretty good position with the Traeger grills on board today, and taking them to victory lane would be a feather in his cap, that's for sure.
Dun, dun, dun.
You saw the overtime rules. We'll take the green. If they come back and take the white, the next flag ends the race, whether it's the checkers or the caution. If we don't get back to the white flag and the caution comes out, we'll re-rack them and do it again. And if those that are concerned about fuel, they don't want another overtime.
Remember when Ben Rhodes was leading, Vince, they were telling him to save fuel, and he said, I can't. So how will this impact the finish of this race?
It's Todd Gilliland and Ben Rhodes on the front row for this restart, and it's overtime at Talladega.
Hey, give me that broomstick back. I want to borrow it again. I'm going to keep this throttle pedal down the whole way.
That's Brett Holmes in the 32, pushing Rhodes on the outside. John Hunter Nemechek is behind the 38 of Gilliland.
These boys are going to be pushing as hard as they ever have all day long. It's right now. Better hold a pretty wheel if you're the lead truck.
Fogelman and Crafton, third row back. Rhodes edging out ahead of Gilliland, and you wonder how that hole in the right front is impacting the truck of Gilliland, but right now he's still able to hold the lead for the moment.
Big side draft there for the 99 of Rhodes. Pulled back that 38 truck.
So far, it hasn't hurt Gilliland as much as we thought, but it's now or never.
Getting a big push from Nemechek. Near contact between the two lines. There's one to go. The white flag. The next flag will end it.
Ripping, pushing, gouging, shoving. Everybody's doing all they can with whatever lane they've committed to. You've got to stay in it right now.
A spot to the final four and a championship on the line. If Nemechek or a Rhodes or a Crafton could win, but Crafton is slipping back. Oh, Holmes gets into Rhodes a little bit, but Rhodes is able to save it. It's Nemechek and Gilliland out front. Todd Gilliland leads with Fogelman third, and they're wrecking behind them. Still green, coming to the end.
They're still green, and Nemechek makes a move to the inside.
To the bottom. John Hunter Nemechek getting a push, trying to make it to the line. Fogelman is behind him. Fogelman wants to make a move. Can Tate Fogelman do it? Oh. He wrecks Nemechek, and it's Fogelman. Tate Fogelman wins.
Wow, and the truck is now destroyed. Oh. Who put the start-finish line down where they did here at Talladega? Because it just gives you so much extra time to thrash things.
Bill France Sr. did that because he wanted to sell more tickets down that way. He said, let's put the start-finish line there.
That's unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Vince, you're a professional. I couldn't even speak during that last lap. Nice job calling them home. What a great finish.
And the celebration for the Young's Motorsports Group. You know, at the beginning of the day, we told you, they all believe they've got a chance when you come to Talladega, and you get the unlikely winner sometimes. And today, that happened, and it's a day that Tate Fogelman will never forget. His first career win. And then you have the heartbreak of a Matt Crafton who had some near misses and then ultimately was unable to miss and finishes 14th.
That lineup will most likely change some with those crashes. We'll see.
Yeah, with Crafton, Creed, and Rhodes, they were all up in the fence, and it gave a lone survivor of the playoff group, Nemechek, a shot at the win, and he still wasn't able to bring it home, which still follows that stat up that no playoff driver has ever won at Talladega.
And the winner only leads the last lap in the last 3 or 4 trips there now.
This is easy. We wrote the book. We should have known how it was going to end.
And there you see we thought that there would be maybe some crosswords between Crafton and Nemechek because they had multiple times today where they got together as Crafton climbs from his truck. You saw the crew member say something to John Hunter as they cross paths. Wow.
That's Talladega is what they just started tossing at each other for some words. This place will throw every single emotion at you. And now we're looking at Fogelman, the race winner, going to the ambulance. He's got to go to the infield care center.
Because he was involved in that incident. Jamie Little is with John Hunter.
And John Hunter Nemechek backwards down here on pit road. Some near misses earlier and then wrecked right at the finish, but you still manage a top 5. Can you just sum up what it's like racing at a place like this?
Wild card, a lot of action. I made a move too late and cost myself the win right there, so my fault. But huge shout out to Pi Barker Fire Alarm Services for everything that they've done for me in my career. I don't know what he's mad about. He's old man, so whatever. But just unfortunate. Should have won. Tried helping everyone all day and tried getting there. So it is what it is. We'll move on to Martinsville. I think we're 30-something above the cut line, so just have to go have a solid day right there. That's it.
All right, John Hunter Nemechek, 36 points, still leading in the playoffs, Vince.
Well, and we were on the replay of the incident when John Hunter referenced the old man, and he was referencing Matt Crafton, who went by and gave him a very aggressive swat on the backside, and an exchange of a couple of words.
He's not old.
No, it's all in one's perspective, right?
He's a 3-time champion.
Yes,
that's right.
And he's not done yet. And you see, Matt's not happy. He got a good shove on a couple of different occasions from that 4 truck, and Crafton is not pleased with the way things have shook out for him today. And here's what I'm talking about from earlier. And you can believe there was some sarcasm in that. That thumbs up. It's always better the thumbs up than the other finger, right?
Yeah.
That wasn't your typical like baseball, like pat on the rear, like, hey, good job. That was the
thumbs up might as well been the other finger.
Thanks for jacking me around all day there, bud.
Jamie is down there with Matt Crafton. Jamie.
Well, Matt Crafton, we saw him walk up behind John Hunter during that interview. Little swat to the backside. What was that for? What are you upset about?
Stage 2, off turn 2, we're there at the end. Hits me coming off the corner. He's smarter than that. I mean, you can't. I mean, I'm fine getting hit going down the straightaway or straight points, but not off the corner and off the corner again. But what comes around goes around sometimes, you know. But at the end of the day, these guys brought me a very fast Menards Toyota Tundra. Like I said, thanked them for all their hard work, and we'll go on to Martinsville.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.
That's a racer right there. He's really a talented.
That's just another notch in the battle, but it's all about the war.
Next up, Martinsville on the 30th. We'll close out the month, and we'll secure our 4 that are going to run for the championship. College football, Nevada, Boise State coming up next. Congratulations to Tate Fogelman.
The time has come, now raise them up. When we hit the This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our fans for your support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.